What's up, everybody? Welcome to my third episode of Stay Driven. Today, we got my buddy Omar Sayyed that's gonna be coming through. Amazing dude, as always, and he's a serial entrepreneur with a bunch of different companies, very successful companies. Should be a lot of fun to kind of sit down and chat with him. I don't know his whole story, so we're all gonna pretty much find out together today. He's a super influential dude, so he's gonna be able to share a lot of insight as far as what he does, how he's gotten here, and how he's made it. But most importantly, we're gonna be shopping today. He told me he's interested in getting into a Rolls Royce, possibly a Ghost, possibly a Wraith. Find the right one that he might like, and we'll chop it up, get to know him, get to know his story, and have a little bit of fun. So he'll be here soon. All right, my boy Omar's here. What's up, brother?
What's up, buddy?
You looking fresh?
How are you?
Sounds good. You ready?
Let's do it. All right. What would you say is like the #1 reason why somebody wants a car like this?
You know what? People just set their goals. I mean, growing up, even for myself, like you have posters of cars, you play with Hot Wheels and Matchboxes, and I mean, if you're a car guy, like this is your world. You know,
right.
this is what some of us live for. And
but what do you think is like the motivating factor? Is it like I don't want to miss out, I want to be seen, or do you think it's like it was a lifelong goal, I've worked hard, I'm a car guy or a car girl, and here I am?
Everyone's different.
Yeah.
You know, some people just enjoy the luxuries
Yeah.
of having something, you know, that they work hard for.
Yeah.
Whether it be a Ferrari or Bentley, that, you know, it's something that not everyone can obtain.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge to get to that point in life. So everyone's different, you know, and I would say mostly just for the fact of, you know, their simple, you know, life enjoyment of wanting a Ferrari or a sports car or a luxury car.
Yeah.
Or, you know, and being able to obtain them. So.
Yeah. So I have to ask, Ferrari or Lamborghini?
Ferrari, man.
Yeah, there we go. I love it.
All
Even
day.
though almost every deal I see you making is for a Lamborghini. That's gotta hurt you somewhat.
No, I mean, it doesn't. I still love Lamborghinis as well. I don't get butthurt by it, you know, but, you know, some people want what they want.
If you could drive away with anything here, what would it be?
Man, probably that red 488 over there.
Okay.
I love that thing.
Yeah.
All right, so I know you've been talking about a Rolls Royce for a little bit.
Yeah. Just as a daily, I'm a car nut, so I get tired, you know, like you can do so many S-classes and 7 Series and, you know, I have M6s and all just beautiful cars, and so you come to a point where you're like, one of these will do for now.
Not even for now. I mean, this is probably the nicest driving car that you're gonna be able to get. Hands down. There's nothing else that's gonna ride like this, drive like this.
Yeah.
I mean, the look and feel.
Yeah.
It's just the pinnacle of luxury, man.
Yeah.
So, interior, you got all the wood grain. They're pulling up your next car right now.
Dude.
You ready to go for a ride?
Yeah.
All right. So what's the thing here? You don't touch the door. You just
no, you don't touch
the
door.
button.
So
right?
here, check this out. You gotta hit him with the button real quick.
All right.
Yeah, left. The one on the left.
Oh, look at that.
Pimp, right?
Yeah. What year is this, by the way?
This one's a 14.
Even at like 20 feet, it was just smooth.
Smooth, right?
It's like a cloud. About to go to sleep, Peter. Night, night. You know, I've worked hard my whole life, and I've always had something nice to drive because it's always been like my little thing that motivates me. Even if I couldn't like quite really sort of like comfortably afford a nice car.
No.
I always did that because at the end of the day, and I would tell my parents because they would get really upset with me, like, you know, why do you keep buying these expensive cars? You should be saving your money. And the truth is that like even those people who love you the most, they sort of give you like not the right advice at all times. But it was my like little splurge that forced me into like working harder every single day and like
I agree.
But my first like nice car was a E46 M3.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I had that back in the day too.
Yeah.
That was like one of my favorite cars.
I just graduated from high school.
Uh-huh.
And I really, honestly, I shouldn't have been in one of those because the payments were expensive, but I loved it. Yeah.
What were you doing at that time for you to afford that?
So truth be told, I dropped out of college, and I didn't tell my parents about it. And I think at the time my brother was the only one who knew, and my brother was younger. He was the only one who knew, and I started a business with my uncle. My uncle had invested all of his money to do this business, and we started actually right out here in Orange County. And we were importing cell phone accessories into the States directly from China. And when we were doing it, we were probably like one of the first people to do it. And this is before, like, you know,
all the mall spots.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We started the business, and then I exited like 3 years later and decided that like I needed to go back to school, which, by the way, was like a huge mistake. And I'm not a proponent of, and I'm not in any ways telling people they should drop out of school, but it wasn't. In hindsight, it wasn't the right decision for me. I probably should have just, you know, moved on and like pursued sort of my entrepreneurial passion, which I did while I was in college, but I think it was like highly distracting. And I'll say this, I feel like college was distracting. Was
it because like you weren't, what do you feel like made you decide that you needed to go back to school? Was it the failure of that business? Were you not ready? What was?
No, so the business was a success in that I learned a ton, obviously, and it was a success in that it's still around, and it's still, you know, like it's the second largest distributor now. But it was a failure in that I was too young. I didn't have I didn't have like the sort of like knowledge, and I didn't have the expertise, and and also I didn't have like a circle around me that was gonna be able to help me sort of guide through the process.
And that was like your first big business, right?
Yeah.
So you went back to school. So what happened after college? Did you finish college?
I did.
You did?
I did. So, and then when I was in grad school, you know, I still. So what I ended up doing is because I was an entrepreneur, and I just could not have a business.
Yeah.
Is that a way to say it? And so we ended up starting another business. In fact, I actually was a late founder into this business, and it did really well. And I exited. Actually, not only did I go to undergrad, but I also went to grad school. Yeah, so I was exiting, and I was like writing a dissertation, and while all this was happening, and so I ended up exiting the second business, and I grew the consulting business, and I had a couple of clients. And when I started picking up bigger projects, it was really exciting because the money was there. But really, what I found out was with these bigger projects, these bigger companies, all they really want is somebody else to blame in case something goes wrong. And even like at best case scenarios, even if you ended up like working on a project that was really good, and even if the project was like successful, what ended up happening was that it wasn't yours, and you couldn't like, you know, put your stake on it. You couldn't,
because your business, I mean, in entrepreneurship and business, I mean, it's almost art in itself, to where you're really pouring a part of you, you know, into just watching something grow. Right.
Yeah.
So that, I'm sure that's kind of the idea and everything that you pour into what you do today.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. Yeah.
So that was after college.
And then what ended up happening was I ended up running into my now two business partners, and they were having sort of an identity crisis, and this is 9 years ago. So I met them. So this is ties.com.
Ties.com. All right, everybody, make sure you check out ties.com.
Yeah, we sell men's and women's fashion accessories.
Okay.
Our theory behind the site is you make really great products, you take care of your team, and your team takes care of your customers, and that sort of engulfs the sort of like philosophy.
I see.
But ties.com is a site that ties your outfit together, pun intended.
Nice.
Yeah. So we do everything from men's neckties,
cufflinks,
to sort of like formal stuff, but now we've really gotten into doing socks. Do everything in-house, everything from design to production to manufacturing. Everything happens in-house.
No way.
So we have total control over everything that happens in the company.
That's awesome, man. So everything's done here in the U.S.?
No, so the manufacturer's still done overseas, but it's our own team overseas.
I see.
Yeah, so I have a team overseas and a team here. The atmosphere that we've created is something that, you know, we've worked hard at sort of like cultivating, and so bringing in new people in has to have that, they have to have that sort of like X factor for us to be in. When people ask me like, what do you do? There's three things that I really worry about in the company. Being responsible for making sure that there's enough money, right? The lights are on and people are eating and that kind of stuff. Number two, that I'm recruiting the right people. And then number three, that I'm retaining those people. And that's what's really important.
For sure.
Talent, and this is probably like one of the sort of like overlooked things. And I think everybody realizes, oh, you know, the right people are important. Yeah. Right? But what people don't understand, or at least are either not willing to admit it or they overlook it, is talent recognition and talent acquisition and then talent retention are really three important things when it comes to you building your business. You know, and I do talent acquisition anywhere. I have no shame. Like, I could be at dinner with my wife and like run into, you know, a host or a salesperson, or it doesn't matter.
Drop in the interview questions.
Absolutely, absolutely. I ask very specific questions, and my wife now has gotten used to it, so she knows there's these 5 questions I ask, and I ask them sequentially.
That you ask. So everybody can be ready to answer these questions. When...
So if this happens, you know you're getting interviewed on the spot.
All right, let's go. Number 1, what's the first question you ask?
The first thing I ask for is, what is one thing that you're proud of? Right? Because an A player always has one thing that they're proud of that they've done in life.
All right.
And it doesn't matter. Like, it could be something like, you know, I was the first person in my family to graduate from college. It could be anything. But you have to, when you're hiring somebody, that person has to have self-awareness to know that, hey, I've accomplished this and I'm proud of it. And if they don't have anything to add, either they have low self-esteem or they haven't achieved anything that they're proud of, you don't want those people on your team, right?
Got you.
The second question I ask is, what is one thing you want to improve in your life, right? So, or one thing that you wish you could improve. The reason why I ask this is because I want to know whether or not you're introspective enough to be able to know, like, hey, this is a weakness, right?
Like self-awareness.
Exactly.
And accountability.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then I don't ask the second part, but really what I'm waiting for is, number 1, for you to show me that you have self-awareness. But the second part of this is for me to find out whether or not you're doing anything about it, right? So even if somebody's like self-aware and says something like, you know, I'm at an age where I should really stop partying, but I'm thinking about doing it, but I party a little too hard, you know? And then what I'm really waiting for is for them to be like,
this is what I'm doing about it.
But this is what I'm doing about it, right? Gotcha. Like, I've started meditating, I don't drink, I'm bored, but I'm gonna do this with it, right? So the second part of it is really important. Or here's another really common one. I'm really bad at prioritizing my day, or what most people will say is, and what it really means is I'm bad at prioritizing my day, but they'll say something like, I take on too many responsibilities, right? Because that's such a cool way to say that, you know, I do a lot of things. But the truth is, what I really want to hear, fine, you're recognizing that, but then tell me what you're going to do about it, right? Like, hey, I'm really bad at organizing my day, but now I calendar everything. And so now I'm constantly, when I get in the morning, I make a list of all the things and I prioritize them based on sort of like importance, or let's say you're a revenue business, I focus on revenue first, and those tasks, I cross them off and I move on with my day, right? Whatever you're doing, whatever your system of organization is, that you've introduced some level of organization to your day, right? Third question I ask is, and this is an important one, is what is missing from your current situation, right? The reason why I ask that is because I want to know whether or not I can make your life better when you come join my team. So let's say I'm hiring Peter, and Peter's like, what's really missing for me right now is, you know, I want to be at the next level of sales. So I feel like I'm missing sales leadership, or I'm missing, I don't go to the right seminars. I'm not networked with the right people. Then I think to myself, okay, well, what does my personal network look like? Do I know places that I can send him Do I know the right courses? Do I know the right people? What can I do to make his life better, right?
Got it.
So, and this is really important for me because then I understand the person's motivation for wanting to be part of the team.
Okay. But they don't even know that they're getting interviewed.
They don't even know, right? Yeah. Like literally a couple of weeks ago, I was at dinner with my business partner.
Yeah.
And we're at a nice steakhouse, and I was asking these questions. So every single time the waitress would come back,
you'd ask another.
Yeah, I'd ask another question.
That's funny.
The fourth question I ask is, why do you want to leave where you are right now? And that's always.
Why would you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that question is sort of like, that question is sort of awkward sometimes because. Like
sometimes they're happy.
Well, sometimes they're like, I'm not leaving, right? And you're like, yeah, but answer it anyway. Why would you leave, right? Or so it depends on like where you are and how you frame that question. And then the last question I ask is, like what would it take for you to come work for me, or what would it take for you to come join my team? I never say work for me. I never call our team members employees. But I'll say like, what would it take for you to come join my team?
Join the team.
Yeah. By the way, if you want to read a book, Super Bosses, it's a very simple read. It's sort of like pop psychology, but
I'm gonna have to get that.
Yeah, but it's about it's a fantastic book about bosses that are not just great bosses, they're not just good bosses, they're the next level boss. And Ralph Lauren apparently was one of those guys, or is one of those guys. So if you think about like in his lifetime, if I can remember everyone, Ralph Lauren sort of birthed the careers of Tom Ford, of Vera Wang. Like he was so influential in the way he approached his day-to-day, and the way he approached treating people, and the way he sort of motivated people to be at their best. I mean, think about it. In many ways, Tom Ford might have more notoriety than Ralph Lauren does, especially for the younger generation.
For right now, yeah. Right?
But people don't know he started as Ralph
Lauren. There's something about that as far as like the influence and how contagious.
Absolutely, yeah.
That energy can be,
Yes.
Like for me here, like I learned, I'm literally the product of who I surround myself
Sure,
with,
absolutely.
And my life has changed significantly.
Yeah.
Because I didn't go to college. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was just a car salesman.
But you're smarter than the rest of us.
No way. Hey, you're the one that shot me for a Wraith, bro.
Yeah, it's funny because I think people will watch this. And again, if you're in school, finish it. I'm not. And if you want to go to school, do it. I'm not. In no way am I telling you shouldn't.
Yeah.
But there is, at least for me anyway, I think there's other ways for you to achieve sort of like success in life. And it doesn't have to be this one mold that's been built. And especially because and this is probably like a good topic for maybe another session, but I feel like our school system has completely failed like the generation that's in school right now.
And the structure is starting to change. Like there's still, I'm sure there are still companies that are that are structured very in a strict way.
Sure.
But I have a lot of freedom here. Like and with that freedom, I know what my responsibilities are.
Right.
And you just produce.
But that's because you work, I think, with people who are giving you autonomy because you've earned the autonomy, right? But you also work for a company that thinks outside of the box, right? Which is one of the reasons why Eurocar has the largest selection of exotics in sort of Southern California, right? Would that be fair to say? Right.
That's fair to say. Yeah.
But that's for a couple of reasons. Number one, because you've earned it.
Yeah.
And I think number two, because they have an outside of the box sort of mentality about it. But I promise you, if you work for a corporate structure, even in your space, even being in the car business, you would not have that freedom.
Big name stores.
Big name stores. There's no way would they give you a budget. No way would they invest in you. No way they would be like
military.
Oh, no way. And then plus, like, could you imagine like the response? They all they think about is responsibilities, right? Yeah. Oh, if he goes on a test drive, even if he gets in a fender bender, who's responsible?
Yeah.
The dealership, the car manufacturer, But these guys think outside the box, and that's what's really important. Yeah. And of course, you're not like out there like racing like a maniac, sort of sometimes. I think we're gonna have to start looking for one, dude.
Let's do it.
we're gonna wrap up this day because my boy Peter's
it's all
busy.
good.
So
you know,
actually,
thanks for coming by.
For sure,
bro.
man. For sure.
No, we're
absolutely.
We're gonna find. I gotta find him. Just the right Wraith.
Just the right one. Yeah.
You know, because we gotta tailor fit it.
Yeah.
To this man's needs.
You know what I actually like about Peter? Because Peter is friends with a lot of my friends, and he knows like how particular I am about everything in my life. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Since you're the professional here,
what
are like?
I try to be.
What are the 5 cars that are like right now, even in this world, that you would say they're underrated? People should pick these up now because they're going to either hold their value better than other cars, or they're going to increase in value.
Man, okay, so first and foremost, I think the number one, I could say draft pick to that list would be the Lamborghini Murcielago. That hands down, that one is
Joseph, that one's for you.
Yeah. The Murcielago, I mean the manual transmissions, the LP640s right now, those are like going crazy. There's some that are listed for like almost $500,000. So that one for sure. The Gold Wing Mercedes SLSs, I've seen that do some pretty cool numbers between the past couple of years. There was a point where I was like, oh, I can't wait for it to drop under 100 because I want it, you know? And then all of a sudden they're like starting to go back up. I'm like, man, it's never gonna happen. So you got that. There's also, I would say the McLaren SLR. You know, that's the collaboration between Mercedes and McLaren that I think is gonna potentially go up, and it's starting to actually. So that's 3. Other than that, I would, you know, Ferrari Scuderias, all the rarer stuff, you know, the Speciales.
He's talking about a 458 Speciale and a 430 Scud.
430 Scuderia, correct, Ferraris. And then one that I think, the last one I would say that has a lot of potential, that I think is gonna skyrocket, would probably be the Mercedes G550 4x4 that they produced. They only made, you know, a couple hundred units of those, you know, for the United States, actually worldwide. And it wasn't actually supposed to be a production car, and Mercedes actually ended up producing it. You know, they had a 2-year run with it. They stopped making them. Now the G-Wagons are out, or the new G-Wagons are out for the new body style. So I think that might have the potential, you know, and people are sleeping on that one. So if you got $250,000 to drop, that's the one.
All right, what would you say if somebody was like, man, I can't spend 2 or 3 bills, right?
Yeah.
What would you say is like, get this car and you'll get the look and feel? I don't want to say bargain, but like, you get this, you get the look and you get the feel without having to like break the bank.
I mean, Porsche products are really great.
Yeah.
Any Porsche, really. I mean, you got the performance, the reliability.
Yeah.
They hold value, they retain value really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, you can find some really cool stuff for around 100, I would say.
So you get a lot of young customers, right?
Yeah.
What would you say are like character traits that these guys have or girls have when they come in? Like, let's say like 5 things that you're like, man, I see this amongst all of these.
You know what? Being an entrepreneur nowadays is very different. So being an entrepreneur now is really cool, you know, but a lot of people throw around that term loosely.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, this and that. Like, look, like, what's cool is the people that, the younger guys that are actually coming in here and buying these cars, like, they understand what it really takes and have sacrificed, you know, through the course of their life, even if it's a very short amount of time, they know what it takes to make that sacrifice and know, like, okay, if I do this for a certain amount of time, when I bust my ass, this is the end result, you know, and they make it a goal. It might not be the most, you know, like might not be the smartest thing for them to do at a young age, but at the end of the day, you know, like, they have a whole life ahead of them. From what I see, for them to make a lot of money to kind of progress and say, hey, like, they have that mindset at such a young age, so that's cool, you know, for me to see. So what I can say about the younger guys, honestly, is just have the goals. Just have your goals, understand what it takes to really sacrifice, you know, and make sure you have good credit. but also this is being realistic with starting out, because you can't, you know, come in here and say, hey, I want to finance a $100,000 car and I only have $5,000 to put down. It doesn't work that way. You know, you got to start with like, you know, $20,000 car, a $30,000 car. Start building your credit up a little bit, you know, and then that way, you know, pay on that, and then you can start making some moves. So either that, or you just come in here with a bunch of cash, you know, and as far as the down payment goes, and say, yeah, this is, you know, you're only financing 20 to 30,000, but that really rarely happens. So build your credit, stay on top of it, be realistic, you know, with what you're trying to buy, and don't overextend, you know. So
What's your next car?
I'm gonna buy your car, bro. I'm gonna buy the 458 off you, man.
Anytime. You can buy the Ferrari anytime. No, can't buy it.
Yeah.
It's not for sale.
I just bought a Bentley. I wanted to get a 458, but I'm gonna have children soon, so.
Oh.
You know.
Wait. Like.
Well, no. I'm
Oh,
planning.
okay.
I
thought it was like the debut.
It's in the plans.
Okay,
No.
yeah,
It's
okay.
in the plans. I'm gonna have, you know, I'm planning on having children, so I need something with the back seat.
Okay.
You know, and so, yeah, we'll
That's
see.
awesome.
All
right, buddy.
man.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping in,
For
bro.
sure, man.
I
Appreciate
appreciate
it.
everything
Same,
and the story,
same.
bro. It's awesome,
Yeah.
man.
It's
I
fantastic.
wish you continued success.
Oh, same for you, buddy.
You know,
Same.
I'm definitely gonna have to do a little shopping on your site.
Yeah, well, also just stuff. How about that?
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you.
You just send me the car. How about that?